Hey everyone, I'm really excited to be sharing with you that JupySQL 0.90 is out, and I'm going to be exploring some of the new features that are available. In particular, I'm going to explore loading configuration from pyproject.toml files, as well as improve CTE usage within the SQL magic. I'm going to start off by downloading data with the help of a custom script called banking. All the script is doing is downloading data from a URL. In this case, I have encoded it as tinyurl.com gbbank. This is data from the UCI machine learning repository. And my goal is going to be to put it somewhere that I can then use for populating a database. For loading the JupySQL extension, all I need to do is to load or reload the extension with name SQL. This will go ahead and let me know that it's found a pyproject.toml file, and it'll tell me what settings it has found. So if I go back here, this is what the pyproject.toml file looks like. It'll be initialized via the heading tool.jupysql.sqlmagic, and then it'll be followed by a series of parameters and their values. And I'll get into how you can identify which values are supported. Today, I'm going to be focusing on the use of one specific parameter, and that is the autopolars configuration, which determines whether the output of my SQL queries is formatted in native SQL format or if it's formatted in polars format. Now, if you're curious to see what else we can configure, you can execute the magic config SQL magic, and this will display a list of all the different options that are currently supported. We're going to go ahead and initialize a DocDB instance via the connection string docdb bank.doc.db. And from here, my goal is going to be to create a schema with tables. I'm not going to be working with the 4 tables. I'm going to be working with 3 out of 4 of the different ones based on the files that were downloaded. Now, one of the things that you can see here is that some of these tables are linked via an ID. For instance, the account and district table may be linked via this district ID. So I can do something like this via the SQL magic with the create schema and create table options. I'm going to start by creating a schema S1, and then from here I'm going to create 3 tables associated to that schema via the tables account, district, and loan, each of these corresponding to the files that I have downloaded. Now, I'm going to go ahead and show you what the save CTE format looks like. So typically the notation or syntax is I start off by the $sign magic SQL, and then I'm going to pass an option called save, which will save the content or which will save the query that's underneath that via the alias loan amount district ID. This is quite similar to the classic common table expression where I will save or I will add an alias to a given query. And then I'll also pass the no execute option, which will basically ensure that while the query is going to be stored into this variable, it won't have to execute it unless I ask for it. And then once I've saved this CTE into the variable loan amount district ID, I can now refactor and reuse later via assigning this into a variable called result. Now in this case, it's going to go ahead and generate the CTE, and then when I ask for the type of data structure that result contains, it'll say is SQL run result set result set. So I'm going to go ahead and change this to true to show that you can change the default behavior of JupySQL via this configuration. So the next thing we want to do is to reload our extension. Now we'll see here that autopolars has been switched to true. And then from here, I'm going to go ahead and execute the query as before. It has the same alias, but then this time when I re-execute it under the result variable and I ask for the type of data structure that result contains, it'll now say that it is a type polars data frame. So just to recap, with JupySQL, I can go ahead and now configure the default behavior of JupySQL when interacting with a database via the use of pyproject.toml. You saw that I was also able to interact with different queries via the use of the save option as well as the no execute option, which will ensure that it's more of a lazy approach. And then finally, if you are curious to learn more about this project, do make sure to visit us on github.com/plumer/JupySQL to learn more about our project.